What's up, everybody, and welcome back. This is our fourth edition of the Coaches Corner. I'm your host today, James Fitzgerald, and today we're with the head women's soccer coach and compliance director, Stuart Dick. Stuart, thanks for being with us today. How's everything going in quarantine? And definitely some tough times. How have you been able to, stay positive during all this?
Yeah, thanks for having me, James. Do you know what? The first few weeks were kind of tricky, but I think we've been in it so long now that we're more or less used to it. It's not been easy. My wife and I, we live in a small one-bedroom apartment in Astoria, so it's trying to figure out who uses the front room, who uses the kitchen as the office, and all that sort of stuff. But it's been hard, but you adjust, and we've got through it. So hopefully we're on the other side of it now, and things start to improve.
Yeah, definitely not easy time. I'm sure everyone's dealing with it in different ways, but glad you guys are figuring it out. Hopefully soon enough we could finally be back on campus and things could start getting back to normal.
Absolutely.
So how have the girls on your team taken to the adjustment? How do you help them personally? Have you been staying in touch and stuff, and staying on top of them during these trying times? I know it's always good to hear from a coach and hear someone else's voice and how you're dealing with things.
Yeah, 100%. That's been one of the biggest things, is trying to make sure that everybody's staying sort of mentally all right through this whole situation. Initially we did a lot of Zoom calls while spring season was kind of still going on, just to go over things. I never actually had one opportunity to meet the girls, meet the team, and then the whole lockdown happened. So we started to do a lot of work based off of Zoom calls and things like that. And then since then, we've been keeping in touch quite a lot via WhatsApp group messages, just individual messages to the players as well, making sure they're doing all right, doing the work, getting the workouts done, and just making sure that they're generally, their well-being's where it needs to be.
Right. Yeah. I think that's super important. Staying in touch with much of them. So, glad to hear you're doing a great job with that. So, for those who don't know, you're originally from Scotland. So, just tell us about, where you're from and, how your journey to the U.S. came about and, how you are where you are today. Just a little, touch on your whole soccer journey.
Yeah. Originally from Glasgow, Scotland, came over to West Palm Beach in Florida on a scholarship, played down there, NAIA, for 4 years. After that, I went to Georgia, coached at a JUCO at the time. It was a men's junior college team called Young Harris. Then kind of moved my way up the coast. I was in North Carolina coaching for about 6 months to a year. And then a position came up at the University of Bridgeport, grad assistant. Was there for 4 years, a couple of master's degrees, coaching the women's team. And then moved on from there to Yale University, obviously Ivy League. Then from Yale to Fairfield University, was there for 4 years. Spent a season at St. John's, and then the job came up at Mount St. Vincent. So that's kind of the journey. Moved up the coast, jumped from a few places, and then finally has been an assistant coach at all those institutions. And then gladly got the opportunity to become a head coach, which is what I've been looking for a few years.
Yeah, so I was actually going to be our next question. Have you always wanted to be a head coach? Did you always think about coming to the U.S.? When did that kind of register with you? There's an opportunity in the United States, maybe that's where I want to go over.
Yeah, it's a great question. I lived in Venezuela for 4 years. So I was in South America. My dad's job, he worked for the British Embassy. So when I was over there, I kind of realised there's a little bit more to the world than Scotland. And that was when the whole scholarship thing was taking off in the UK. It wasn't very well known. One of the guys that I know back in Scotland started up a scholarship company basically and started sending kids abroad. I was one of the first to go through him way back then, back in the day. So that was kind of how it got on my radar. Prior to that, I don't think if I hadn't gone to South America, I probably wouldn't have really pursued it. But when I found out, I can keep playing football and studying and all the rest, it was a no-brainer for me. It really was.
Yeah, and we happen to be on the best end of that because we get to have you at our school now, so we're thankful for all those things that happened, and we're excited to see you on the sideline for 2020 for your first season at Mount. Just touching on that though, your adjustment to things has obviously been a little different. You were on campus for maybe 3 weeks before everything got shut down. Maybe you got one full month in, so obviously your adjustment's a little different. But how have you been, training packages and things like this to prepare your girls, hopefully for 2020 season this fall?
Yeah, yeah, like you said, it's a bit of a whirlwind. It was probably 3-4 weeks, kind of getting to know everybody, a few changes going on, and then everything stopped. So it was a kind of situation to maybe get a little bit creative. But girls worked hard. We had the spring packet that we sent out. We got that done pretty quickly, got everything out to them, so they were keeping the level of fitness up during the spring, so they weren't just sitting around again. It was obviously a lot on them to do the work themselves instead of making it mandatory, because it's just a hard situation for everyone to be in. The stress really isn't needed. So we did that, and then based the summer packet, which got sent out probably 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now. So they'll be working through a 10-week summer packet currently, leading up to August, again, middle of August, August 18th currently. As you know, that might well change. But yeah, so they'll be working through that packet just now. It's more of a guideline. If they do it all and they come in, they'll be flying. If they pick and choose parts of it, they'll be at a good fitness level. So it's just to give them a basic idea, but as long as they come in fit, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, now definitely no excuse for many athletes because not much else to do right now besides,
What else you gonna do apart from run, right? Just get
go
out
out. Right. So just building off that, a great roster. You return a lot of key players, a veteran defense, a freshman goalkeeper who started every game for the team last year. So, do you have any new pieces coming in? I know, again, you came in super late, so the recruiting obviously was not easy. But, what is your roster looking like for hopefully August of 2020?
Yeah, as you said, we return a really strong class. Very, very comfortable with all of the players that we have bringing back. There's a ton of talent, very, very young. So that extra year of maturity, knowledge, experience is going to be vital for them. So very, very happy with the team that we're bringing back. I think there's a good core to build on. As you mentioned, recruiting's been tough. I've not been able to get anyone on campus. We've not been able to go watch any games because all the shutdowns killed everything basically. So it's been videos, it's been speaking to people on Zoom calls, it's been emailing, phone calls constantly. We've got 2 recruits currently coming in, which will help. Ideally, I'd like to try and get a couple more. I don't know how possible that's going to be at this stage, as you said, behind the 8 ball a little bit with everything going on. But we'll keep trying till the last possible moment. But if no one else comes in apart from the 2, I'm very confident with the girls that we have that we can definitely put a good, strong season together.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Lauren just won Scholar Athlete of the Year. She's coming back. She was a first team all conference. Alyssa, a stud on this all conference team. Christina Britton on offense. You guys certainly, return great amount of talent there, as well as Cora in the cage. So for expectations wise, last year was the first year in, quite some time. The Dolphins, the women's soccer team, didn't make the Skyline Conference playoffs. What are your expectations, again, if, we are lucky enough to have a full fall season? Where do you see the team going with you at the helm? I think, the program can go in a great direction. So what are you thinking right now as the coach?
Yeah, the goal, and I saw Coach Mooney's as well the other day, and he's completely correct. The goal's got to be to win championships. If we're not setting that as our goal, then we're in the wrong business. So ultimately, that's going to be the end goal. Now, when that's going to be, who knows? But starting off this fall, it's getting everyone on board, getting everybody to buy in to the process. I always say that you can't guarantee results. You can have the best players. You can be North Carolina, UCLA, Stanford, whoever it is. Referees, injuries, bad breaks of the ball, whatever it may be, can go against you at any time. But if you've put the building blocks in place, if you've got the process correct, the players understand what you are looking for, they understand the system, they understand that it all starts with working hard, being willing to run, being fit, then we'll put ourselves in a good position before the ball's kicked. So then it comes down to them. The 90 minutes, really, the work should have been done during the week. They need to know what's expected, what's needed of them. And I think if we do that, the talent on the team will show through. You mentioned Christina, very, very talented. There's a ton of other players on the team as well, just like her. You've got players like Hannah, other players, Cora in goal, solid goalkeeper is massive. And I think that if we can put the right players in the right positions and basically set them up for success, then this team will be very successful. Players like Emily that can get around the field. You mentioned Alyssa. They're all over Madison. They're all over the field. Grace Barry at right back, 6 assists from right back. These players are going to step up and they're going to be big this coming season. Absolutely no question. But it's just making sure they trust the process. If they buy into it, then there's no reason why we can't be in the playoffs again in my first year. And, who knows? When you make the playoffs, anything can happen.
Yeah, I know from athletic, department standpoint, myself and Dan are super excited. We always love watching the women's soccer team. And, under new direction, we think big things are certainly ahead. Again, I would just thanks for coming out today, Stu. Thanks for sharing some time with us. I really appreciate it. And I think everyone's really looking forward to the women's soccer season, hopefully as much as you are.
Thanks very much for having me. You guys do a lot of good work, for the department. I think it goes unnoticed sometimes. So thanks very much for all that you do. And yeah, we're excited to get back on campus, excited to get started and have a successful season.
Yes, sir. All right. Take care, Stu. Thanks again.
Hey, James. Thank you.